morning everyone. In the previous session of Global HRD, I simply explained about the meaning of HRD, the definitions given by the various authors regarding HRD. So that was the basic introduction of HRD. In today's class, I am going to explain the need for HRD. It means that why do every organization need HRD? What is the basic necessity of HRD in every organization? As you all know that organization goes through variety of changes, various changes, both internal and external. External changes means changes in various external factors like economic conditions, political conditions, change rules and regulations which are changed by the government, and various technological advances. These are the external changes which influence the organization, and because of that they have to make many changes within the organization. They have to change the or modify the organization structure. They have to modify job, enrich job, means they have to create a different set of jobs, make changes in the job design, job specification. So all these changes need a efficient group of people who are eligible for handling any kind of situation and any kind of change. And because of this reason only, HRD becomes essential in every organization, so that the human resource will be efficient, will be developed, and will be ready to cope up with any kind of challenge and any kind of adverse situation. So the first point why because of which HRD becomes essential in any organization is changes in economic policies. Now I'll just give an example. In the year 1991, India went through a major change, that is they introduced LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. Now this process entirely changed the scenario, the business scenario, the economy of the country. It allowed many foreign companies to enter into the Indian market. Now these foreign companies are well developed, they have efficient group of human resources, their operations are completely different from Indian companies. If we say that the MNCs were much more capable than the Indian companies. So that made Indian companies to focus on HRD so that they can give competition to MNC. For example, in a class there is a student who is highly efficient, highly talented and represents himself or herself in a much better manner. He is intelligent, he or she is intelligent, getting good marks. So in order to match up with that student, you have to develop yourself. That happened during LPG. In order to give competition to the MNCs, to the big organizations which have business all over the world, Indian companies had to develop. So that's why HRD became essential, because of these economic changes in the economic policy, like giving more power to the private companies or making different sectors or privatizing various sectors. These type of policies were actually made to balance the economy, to make the economy of a country more stable, increase the GDP. So these are the reasons such kind of changes takes place. And because of such changes, we need to focus on the development of human resources so that they can easily adapt the changes, they can easily accept it and work according to it. So changes in economic policy is the basic reason because of which HRD is essential in almost every organization. So let's move on to the second point. The second point here says that changing job requirements. Like I said, many external changes lead to many internal changes. Changes in organization structure, changes in job design, job and means enrichment of job. So the activities which you were supposed to do in a particular particular job, they have changed it, they have added more activities, they have changed the job specification. So the requirement, the changes in job requirements changes time to time, and because of that we have to develop the human resource. Now for example, in a particular job the company has added more duties and responsibilities, and so that the job will satisfy the organizational needs and more. So that is the change in the organization structure and in the job structure. Now suppose you are working in an organization, you are already on a job, and suddenly new duties and new responsibilities are added to the job. So during at that point of time you need to learn new skills, new techniques, so that you can adapt those changes, so that you can perform your extra duties and responsibilities which are added to your job. So because of changing job requirements, HRD becomes essential in order to develop the human resource, so that they will be capable of handling and managing any kind of changes in the job. So this is the second point, this is the second point of need for HRD. This is the second reason why human resource development is required in every organization. Now let's move on to the third point, third need for HRD. The third need says that need for multi-skilled human resource. Now multi-skilled means what? Now in the present scenario where many companies are there, every company is facing tough competition from big organizations, they need to have multi-skilled human resource. Means an employee must be efficient to handle different kinds of jobs, must be efficient to handle any kind of adverse situation. That is called multi-skilled. We cannot say that we need only specialized people. One person must be specialized in one area. That is not the requirement in present scenario. One person must have multi-skilled, means he must be specialized in different areas, so that he or she can manage any kind of adverse situation, can be promoted to any kind of job, can be given more responsibilities and more duties. And because of that, how to make the human resource multi-skilled? Through HRD. Every human being is not multi-talented, multi-skilled, but they have the potential of becoming a multi-skilled employee, a multi-talented employee. Those potentials must be recognized by the organization. Those potentials must be polished by the organization, so the employees can grow and develop, and they can become multi-skilled employees or multi-talented employees who will be eligible for handling any kind of changes, for managing any kind of job. So this is the third reason why HRD is required in almost all the organizations. Now let's move on to the fourth point of need for HRD. Fourth point is organizational viability and transformation. Now here, what is viability? Viability means the capability of the organization to grow, to survive, and to transform into a big organization. So organizational viability, that is the opportunity for growth, development, survival, and becoming more and more strong as an organization. But this viability faces various kinds of threats from the external environment. Like suppose there is a company who is manufacturing laptops, and suddenly there is a new company, a multinational company, who is producing excellent laptops at a very low rate because of technological development. So here the viability of the organization is threatened because of competition. Now this competition is like very tough for the company, because that very well developed, that competitor is an MNC, that competitor has advanced technology, and this organization does not have that. So because of all kinds of external changes, it may be technological changes, it may be increase in the number of competitors, it may be economical changes, political changes, cultural changes, any kind of changes, it threatens the viability of the organization, that is its capability to grow and survive and give tough competition to the competitors. And for this reason, they have to transform itself. They have to go through a transformation process. Now, how an organization can transform itself? Through HRD. Like I said, human resource is the most important resource in every organization because they manage the overall organization. They manage each and every aspect of the organization. So in order to go through the transformation process, they need to transform their human resource. They need to make them more capable, more efficient, and they need to develop the human resource so that the organization can survive and grow and give tough competition to the other organization. They can survive in any kind of adverse situation. They can face any kind of external as well as internal changes. Now let's move on to the fifth point. The fifth point here says that technical advances or technological development. Nowadays, technology is changing on a daily basis, on a regular basis, and it has huge impact on every organization. Now, every company has to adapt the new technology so that it can give competition to the competitors. Take example of like companies like Kodak. During the time when digital camera was introduced, Kodak failed to cope up with the changing technology, and that led to the bankruptcy of the company. So many companies become bankrupt because of these technological changes. They didn't have the capability to accept the new technologies. Now, how an organization can accept and adapt new technology? By developing their human resource. By developing the human resource here means giving them that kind of training through which these new technologies can be understood and managed by the human resource. Any new technology can be easily introduced, but what will be its benefit if the people using the technology have no idea about it? So, in order to accept or to introduce new technology, first of all, they need to provide proper training to the employees so that they can understand the new technology, they can understand how this new technology is going to make their work more and more easier, how this new technology will lead to the success of the organization. So, training and development session needs to be provided so that the company can use or accept any kind of new technology. So, acceptance of new technology means they will give competition to the competitors. They will not left behind in the area of competition, and they can survive and become successful in the market. So these are the 5 points because of which every company needs HRD. Now let's move on to the 6th point of need for HRD. The 6th point says that now, in the present scenario, every organization is becoming more and more complex. How? Like I said, technical advancement, even automation. If you see nowadays, every company does not only produce one product. They have variety of products. Like take example of HCL or ITC. They have number of products. Even if they are manufacturing biscuit, in that range only they have variety of brands, different kinds of flavors. Around 10 to 20 biscuits are manufactured by ITC itself. So the operations increases, the number of products increases so that they can capture more and more market share. Because Because of that, they increase the number of products they manufacture, they increase its operation, they are more dependent upon the automation factor, so that increases the complexity level in the organization. When a person does more and more number of tasks, the job becomes more complicated. Simply, same way the same way when the organization does or produces more and more number of products, the activities, the structure, everything of the organization becomes complex. And in order to manage this complexity, what do we need? We need efficient and developed group of people. Simple. And this is possible through HRD. In order to see, this complexity can be managed by multi-skilled employees, and multi-skilled employees is the result of HRD. So everything is interconnected. So if we want to manage the complexity level of the organization, we need better human resource, efficient human resource, multi-skilled human resource, and this is possible through development of human resource. Different training sessions, development sessions, counseling, performance coaching, there are variety number of functions which are provided, which needs to be provided to the human resource so that they can develop themselves, they can learn new knowledge, new skills, so that the complexity level of the organization, the increased level of operations of the organization can be managed efficiently and effectively. Now let's move on to the another point of need for HRD. So this is the last point regarding the need for HRD. The last point here means, or here says, human relations. Now human relations. This is the last point, but the most important one. Now suppose there is a company and the company has always failed to satisfy their employees and their workers. What will be its consequence? It will fail to become successful if the company does not maintain healthy relationship between the employees, between the employer and the employees, between the management and the worker. This will affect the organization in a very negative manner. It cannot have a smooth running of the business, it cannot have smooth production of goods and services, it can never satisfy the consumers, and ultimately it will lead to the failure of the company. So human relation is extremely necessary in any organization. Now this human relation is possible through HRD. Why? This HRD will provide job satisfaction to the employees, because HRD not only focuses on development of human resource for the benefit of the company, it also focuses on career planning, career development of the employees, job satisfaction, appraising the performance of the employees, providing necessary training and development for the benefits of the individual. So maintaining good human relation requires HRD, because it provides job satisfaction, it appraises the performance of the employees, it provides them various opportunities to grow and develop. And this, if an organization has good human relation, good industrial relation, it will lead to the success of the organization, it will lead to the growth, and it will also help the organization to survive in the tough and competitive market. So these are the 7 points because of which HRD is necessary in almost all the organization. So as I have already explained why do every organization need HRD, now I am going to explain the scope of HRD. Means the areas which are covered by human resource development. Basically, it covers all the areas of HRM, all the functions like recruitment, selection, performance appraisal. These areas also come under the scope of HRD. So the first area which comes under the scope of HRD is recruitment. So as you all know what is recruitment, recruitment is the process through which potential candidates are encouraged to apply for the job, and they need to decide which is the most suitable source of recruitment for the organization or for a particular job. There are two sources of recruitment, internal and external. So how HRD covers recruitment? Now they have to select that source of recruitment which has the potential of providing efficient candidates, prospective employees, and these employees must have the scope for development and improvement. Now usually what happens when a person is appointed on the job and he or she does not have any kind of scope for improvement, any kind of hidden potentials and anything, so it is a negative point for HRD. We need people in the organization which can be developed, which can be taught new skills, new knowledge, which should, those people should be capable of handling higher positions in future. So they need to find those sources of recruitment which will provide employees which are not only suitable for the present job, but they must have the capability of going into a higher position in future. So HRD here covers recruitment by choosing the source of recruitment, which should be the source, and these prospective candidates must have the potential and capability for managing the present as well as future job. So this is the first point which comes under the scope of HRD. The second point here is selection. Now, in the selection process, every candidate goes through a variety of tests and interview. So, each and every capability, the eligibility of the candidates can be easily evaluated, and then the person will be, the best person out of the lot will be given a job in the organization. So, how does HRD cover selection? Now they have to select the candidate which has more potential, which has the interest for growth and development, which has the capability of managing future higher position job. These candidates must be flexible. These candidates must have the capability of accepting and adapting changes. So HRD covers selection by selecting those candidates which have the potential for growth, development, and has the potential for managing future higher level jobs. Okay. Now let's move on to the third point of scope of HRD. Now here it involves analysis, appraisal and development of performance. Analysis means, or we can say, evaluation of performance of all the performance of all the employees who are working in the organization. Proper evaluation of the performance of the employees, so that on that basis of this analysis and evaluation, they can appraise the performance, and then it will lead to the development of the performance. First of all, they will go through, they will maintain the record of each and every employee's performance. They will go through it, how they have performed, whether they have made any kind of mistake, how they have done well in the job. Each and every aspect of the performance needs to be recorded for the purpose of analysis. And after evaluating the performance, it will lead to appraisal. How well they have performed, the performance of the candidates will be rated, how well they have performed or they have made any kind of mistakes. So appraisers will appraise the performance of the employees. After appraising the performance, the management will find out to what extent they can more develop the skills and knowledge of the employees. They will find the gap. Gap means the existing knowledge and skills of the employees, and to what extent these skills and knowledge can be increased. So that will lead to the development of the performance. So after appraising, after understanding the present level of the performance, it will lead to the development of the performance of the human resource. So these aspects are the most important element of scope of HRD. It not only helps in developing the performance of the candidate for the benefit of the company, but it also gives some kind of job satisfaction to the employees, and their individual needs, desires and aspiration also are satisfied through this aspect. Okay, so this is the third point which comes under the scope of HRD. Now let's move on to the fourth point of the scope of HRD. The fourth point is training. Now training is provided for acquiring the skills which are necessary to do a particular job. So here training programs are provided to teach the employees the various techniques which are essential to do his or her jobs. If already they have certain skills and knowledge, we need to provide them training so that these skills and knowledge can be improved. So training is another point which comes under the scope of HRD. This will make the employees more and more efficient. This will help the employees to do a task with less amount of time and more efficiently. So training provides the facility to the employees to learn things, to do their job in a much better manner. So the next point which comes under the scope of HRD is career planning. So like I have already said that nobody works in an organization for benefiting the company. Everybody works in the organization for benefiting themselves also. What if you have joined an organization where there is no opportunity for development, no opportunity for promotion, no opportunity for growth? Will you be satisfied with the job? No, you won't be. You will be waiting for opportunities outside the company, and whenever you find better opportunities in other companies, you will leave your existing company, your present company, and you will join the other company. And in order to avoid that, we as an organization need to satisfy the employees. Now we need to provide them opportunities for promotion, for growth, for development, and also opportunities for going into the higher and higher position. Now here, what does career planning actually do? Career planning actually provides them guidance. It shows a direction in which they are supposed to move in order to become successful, in order to reach or achieve their individual goals and objectives. It provides variety of opportunities through which they can become successful, they can attain their objectives, they can achieve all their aspirations. So, career planning also comes under the scope of HRD. This focuses on the development of human resource, satisfaction of human resource, providing them guidance and a career path in which they are supposed to move in order to become successful. Clear? So these are the 5 points of scope of HRD. Now let's move on to the next point of the scope of HRD. The next point here says succession planning. So succession planning here means that, I'll just give an example. Suppose you're working as an assistant manager, and the manager is supposed to get retired after 2-3 months. But in this situation, we have to find a person who is eligible enough, talented enough, efficient enough to take the position of the manager. So here we have to plan for all the jobs which may be vacant in future or in near future. So that is called succession plan. Who will take up the job of a vacant position if the particular person retires or leaves the job? So here we are not only planning the career, or we are not only providing training to do a particular job. We are training the employees so that they can move forward, they can take the position of their superior. So that comes under succession planning. We need to train and develop the human resource so that they will be eligible position of their senior. So that comes under the succession plan. So the seventh point here is developing managerial skills and behavioral changes. Now, in order to take part or in order to take position of your superior, what do you actually need? You need managerial skills. You need some kind of behavioral changes, behavioral development. So this is an important aspect of scope of HRD. Here, with training, you learn how to do a particular job. But with managerial skills, you learn how to manage people, how to manage a job, how to work in an organization efficiently. That is taught in the developing managerial skill portion. So here, not only the managerial skills are developed, they are also taught how to behave in an organization, what kind of behavioral changes are required in the organization, what kind of persons are required at the higher position, what kind of thought process they need to have, what kind of personality they need to have. These are the things which comes under developing managerial skills. So this will help the employees to take future higher position, to take promotion or to go to a future higher position. So these are the 7 points. Now let's move on to the 8th point of scope of HRD. The 8th point here says that now learning through intergroup and intra-group interactions. Now, see, development session, training session, these are the things which help an employee to become more efficient to develop. But an employee can also learn through by working in a group. When you work in a group, you interact with your group member, you become part of a group. So that is the best way of learning, because in an organization, we don't work as an individual, we also work as a team member, as a group member. So with intra-group and inter-group interactions, we can learn a lot of things, like to become a team player, how you're supposed to become a team player. Suppose in a group there are 5 efficient members and there are 2 not so efficient members. How this group is going to work efficiently, even if 2 members are not efficient. Those 2 members can learn a lot of things by seeing the other group members, how they perform, how they work. Now these interactions will help the people to gain knowledge, to gain experience, to learn a lot of things. They can learn these things from their seniors, from their colleagues, and they can also learn things from their subordinates. So this is a learning process through intergroup and intra-group interaction. Point here is, the 9th point here is organizational development. Now here organizational development means changing the attitude, the behavior of the workforce, how they can understand the requirement of the organization and make necessary changes in order to become successful. Now this organizational development not only focuses on the development of an individual, it focuses on the development of the entire workforce, so that the overall organization can develop and grow and become successful. So this is another portion which comes under the scope of HRD, that is organizational development. In this, the behavior, the attitude, the personality, not personality but the behavior is changed according to the requirement of the organization, which is not only going to benefit the company but also going to benefit the individuals also. So these are the 9 points of scope of HRD. There are also 3 more points regarding the scope of HRD. Here in scope of HRD is learning through social and religious interactions. And now this is not like office room or training session or development session. This is a casual learning process. Nowadays what happens, every organization conducts or organizes varieties of functions, like they celebrate Diwali, they celebrate other festivals, they celebrate Independence Day, Republic Day. So these kind of programs and events leads to what? So increases the socialization between the employees. They learn a lot of things through informal interactions. They can have casual conversation. They can try to learn about different cultures, how to behave with other people when they belong to different culture. So these type of interactions and programs actually help the employees to have good and healthy work relation with the employees. Suppose you don't communicate with the person, suppose there are 2 people working in the organization and they only talk about the work. They do not socialize, they don't have any kind of personal conversation. Even if it is not related to work, they don't have such kind of conversation. This will create different kinds of barrier. It will not create a healthy working relation between these 2 employees. So, in order to create a healthy working environment, healthy working relation between the employees, these type of learning programs or interactions, religious and social programs are conducted by the organization. Clear? Now, come to the next point of scope of, that is scope of HRD. The next point here says that learning through job rotation, job enrichment and workers' participation. So now you must have understood the meaning of job rotation. Job rotation means one employee will be working on different jobs for a limited time period. In one job he or she will be working for 1 or 2 weeks. In another job he or she will be working in for another 2-3 weeks. So that will give the person the knowledge of different jobs, how to manage different jobs, how these jobs are interconnected and interrelated. So that will give knowledge to the employee, how different jobs are managed, how different jobs are coordinated so that the work can be done. Then job enrichment. Job enrichment means increasing the duties, responsibilities, salary and whatever benefits are given to every job. That is job enrichment. And the last one is worker participation in either decision making process or in the decision making process of management. The worker participation encourages workers to participate in the decision making process. They can give their opinion, they can give their suggestion. This will boost the confidence, this will give them some kind of job satisfaction. The workers will feel that they belong to the organization, they will willingly help the organization in different kinds of situation. They will have the feeling of belongingness, that the company is concerned about their suggestion, company is concerned about their opinion. So, learning through these 3 aspects. Now, through these 3 aspects, an employee can learn a lot of things. Like in job rotation, they learn how different jobs are done, how they are coordinated, how they are interdependent, interrelated. Through job enrichment, they learn what happens when duties and responsibilities of a job increases, what happens when extra number of activities are added into the job, or the job moves one position ahead in the hierarchy of the organization structure. So they learn a lot of things from these three aspects. Like worker participation, they also learn how to give a suggestion, how to understand the situation. They give more time in understanding a situation, creating an opinion, giving a proper suggestion in the decision making process. So this boosts the confidence of the employees. This motivates them to work hard. This motivates them to stay within the organization and work efficiently. So now let's move on to the last point of scope of HRD. The last point here includes performance appraisal, potential appraisal, or it also includes performance coaching, performance consultation and all that. So like the scope also includes performance appraisal, potential appraisal. Performance appraisal here means maintaining a record of the performance of the employee and rating the performance of the employee, not the employee. Only the performance is being rated by the appraisers by using varieties of methods. Then potential appraisal means polishing the potentials of the employees, what hidden potential they have, increasing their capability, making them efficient for future higher level jobs. So these are also part of scope of HRD. So these are the 13 points which come under the scope of HRD. So that's it for today. In the next class, I will be explaining about other topic like features of HRD, or we can discuss about more other topics of HRD. So that's it for today. Thank you.